Hello everyone, Kat Y here, back for another vlog. Welcome back to my channel. Here I like to chat all things emotions and transmuting our emotions. And today we're going to be talking about acceptance. And acceptance comes from last week's video where we spoke about rejection a lot. And I had quite the big week of unfolding all the themes of rejection that had kind of been plaguing me for many decades, actually. So following on from last week, I decided to have a courageous week of throwing myself into all different types of circumstances which required some courage on my behalf, but also acceptance that I wasn't going to be good or I could be subjecting myself to some rejection. So it was quite the week. On Monday, I signed up for some African drumming classes. I'm not rhythmically inclined at all, but this, I thought, I've always wanted to be able to play with other people and dance to the music and clap along to a beat, but I've always been half a beat off, and I think that's quite reflective of how I've been with society as well, just like half a beat off from center. And that was really good. It was about being present, actually. When I was in the class, you know, it was obviously my first class and there was so much to kind of absorb. You had to listen to the teacher and follow his instructions, but also other people drumming around you, and then the room was filled with all these drums and posters, and you know, and then obviously when you weren't getting the rhythm right, you'd get into your head. So it was all about just breathing deeply and just focusing on yourself and the rhythm and following the rhythm. And it was quite good, actually. The first half I was like, what am I doing here? And you know, and my first initial reaction, which is what I always fall back to, is like, oh, I'm not coming back next week. There's no way I'm doing this again. But of course, luckily, I know myself too well, and I've booked in for 6 sessions, so I have to commit to it. So I can't run away from it like I usually would have. And so that was good. So once I kind of went, well, Catherine, you're locked in for 6 weeks, I just kind of really knuckled down and kind of surrendered to it. And I got better results. I got into that flow state. And it was funny, there was this one time where the instructor allowed us to run with the rhythm for quite a while, and I was really into it. And all of a sudden I heard, "Good job, Catherine," from the instructor. And I immediately snapped out of it and screwed up the beat, and I kind of had to stop myself, regroup, and start again. So that was very interesting to witness myself in that kind of scenario. And I'm keen to keep it up. I don't expect to be the best drummer in the world, and I don't want to take it up for a hobby or anything like that, but it's such a good practice for me to recognize how much I'm not present and I'm not moving with the beat of the world. Yeah, so that was interesting. Tuesday I had a job interview, and I was surprisingly really confident and really grounded in it, and really projecting my value. I knew exactly what I was capable of, and I was definitely demonstrating that value, and I really walked away from that job interview feeling quite empowered, which was great. It was quite an obscure job. There wasn't really a role, but the role had potential to grow. It was with a startup company, and their big plan was amazing, and I could definitely see myself, you know, becoming part of that big plan. But the state that they were currently in was just chaos, and you know, that's always daunting, is walking into somebody else's chaos. But anyway, we went on to Wednesday and I had a date, and the date went really well. Got on like a house on fire, and that date went for about 3.5 hours, which is lovely. And towards the end of the date, I had the courage to be vulnerable and express where I'm at and what I actually quite need from my partners at the moment. And that was like to take things slow and to build trust and to allow myself to surrender, so I can connect deeper, instead of just trying to perform in my masculine, which I've been doing on all my dates and all my partners for the past 20 odd years. But really now I want to be able to recalibrate out of my masculine into my feminine with a partner before I'm intimate with them. And yeah, it didn't, like, obviously it's a lot for someone to take on off the bat. They think they're coming to a happy-go-lucky date. And then you get kind of bombarded with, you know, what boundaries, we'll say. But it turns out they had some boundaries as well, and they actually got to vocalize where they're at and boundaries that they need in their life as well for some healing. So, you know, we still haven't kind of ironed out that situation, but it's nice to know what we're both dealing with at the moment, and we're allowing ourselves time to kind of sit with it and how does that fit into our current lives and stuff like that. So that was super positive. And then Thursday I had the poetry recital. Oh my god. And I purposely didn't practice too much, because I just wanted to have fun with it. And so I knew the poem. And I was just going to read off my pages and just let it flow and try to be as animated as possible whilst reading off the paper and making as much eye contact as possible. And on the way there, it was actually like a 40-minute drive to get there. And I just decided to say the mantra over and over again. I accept everyone and everyone accepts me. I accept everyone and everyone accepts me. I accept everyone and everyone accepts me. And I just wanted that kind of to fit in, to be able to read my poetry and not feel rejected. And I didn't want to be critical of other people's expression either, because we're all there with different things we want to convey in our poetry, different passions, and I can't be critical just because something isn't to my liking. You know, it's unfair to be critical if someone's just expressing themselves. So, you know, I wanted that to be reciprocated. So I rocked up and I was there a little bit early, and I was sitting in a space with not many people around me. And before I knew it, all these people started sitting beside me and around me, and we're all there by ourselves, all there to read. None of us had brought up partners or family or anything like that. We're all first timers as well. Most of us were first timers actually. And yeah, we're kind of talking about our journeys and, you know, first time reading and, you know, having the guts to do this and kind of stuff. So it was just this really beautiful atmosphere that was kind of like building before we even started reading. We're all chatting to each other, and I was the center of this nucleus that I had kind of formed. It was so beautiful. And you know, some of us read really well and some of us didn't read so well. I did stumble. I choked about 2/3 of the way through. I got stuck on the line twice, and I had to kind of just take a pause and breathe in deeply and to recenter myself. And whilst I was doing that, the members of the audience started clicking. And in poetry, that's like a sign of encouragement. So it was beautiful. As I was kind of breathing, I could hear all these people clicking in the background as if like, come on, Catherine, you've got this. And it was just such a beautiful, beautiful moment. And I collected myself and I sped through the last third of the poem. And my scores were pretty average because of the delivery, obviously. But I just overcome something so great, so beautiful. And, you know, I didn't succeed in winning or reciting the poetry to its best ability, but it was something greater that I achieved for myself, of just accepting myself in that moment, whether it was the drumming and stuffing up, or the date and being vulnerable, or showing my value in the job interview. Is all about just accepting that this is me and this is what I have to offer, and I'm not going to be ashamed of it. I'm just going to allow it, and you either embrace it or you fall away. But I'm no longer going to hide. I'm no longer going to hide. And then on Friday, I was high as a kite. I was just like nothing. I thought I was just like, this is it. I'm turning my life around. I spoke last week of the champagne bottle. The champagne bottle popped. All the energy was flowing out and all. And then Friday afternoon, I got an email from the job application that I went to the interview for on Tuesday, that my application had been declined. So the gentleman who had interviewed me on Tuesday didn't have the courtesy to call me or email me to say that he wasn't going to need my services, but he used the job search application website to decline my services. And that hit me really hard on two folds, mainly because I really need a job, and I could see great potential. I could see how a lot of my skill sets would have been utilized in the long run there. But also the fact that he didn't have the courtesy to kind of call me or email me and make it a little bit more personable, or tell me why he was rejecting me. So, and we'll never know the reason why. Even if he'd called me and said something, you never know if it's the truth or not. So I can't really, it doesn't really matter. It has to be okay with myself. I have to accept myself. Anyway, so after having such a great week of such highs, I had this really low moment on Friday afternoon and Saturday morning where all these tears came out, all this hurt. I cried 1,000 tears that day. And it was just, in one sense was good, like that rejection and that sorrow was so built up inside me that I needed the release. But maybe I needed, I could only have that big release when I've had such a great week, because everything has to balance itself out. Like if I had an average week and then you throw the rejection in on Friday on top of it, I would have been a hot mess, and that's where the point where you don't recover from, because you start spiraling out of control and saying, oh, it's me. But no, because I had such a great week. So I honoured myself Friday afternoon and Saturday morning. I cried, I rang people that loved me, had a bit of a whinge, and got it all out of my system. And then by Saturday afternoon, I was ready to go again. I had a new plan. I was like, what am I doing? I shouldn't be working for other people. I really need to be working for myself. I'm creative. There would have been creative aspects of that, and maybe I could have moved into a more management position when the company had taken off more. But fuck it, I can't hold on and work on other people's dreams. I need to start working on mine more. So, yes, I still need a day-to-day job to until things pick up for me, but I really want to work on writing more, freelance writing, all that kind of stuff. So just having the confidence to entering an already flooded market of writers, freelance writers, and how do I say this? Just believing in my voice, that my voice needs to be heard, or people want my voice to represent them, and my voice is unique. So we'll see how that goes. I'll keep you posted. All right, well, I was thought about reading one or two poems here. I have a poem that's about acceptance, and obviously we're talking about acceptance today, so that seems really just, it's not rocket science to read out that poem. But then I have another poem about self-esteem, which is a little bit more, a little less about being in a pity state and more like taking charge. And that's where I'm kind of feeling right now. So maybe I'll read the acceptance one. There'll be another day where we have to talk about acceptance again. And this poem, actually, acceptance, is more about the rejection I have with my sisters. And that's something that I'm still kind of working through. So maybe we'll park the acceptance poem and I'll read the self-esteem poem. Because this is ultimately what I'm feeling. I don't want to stay in that pity state that I was in. I'm ready to go conquer the world. Oh, I won't give the poem away. Okay. Okay. It's titled Self-Esteem. I got this. I know who I am, and I know what I want. You can no longer hinder me or stop my growth. I believe in myself and what I have to offer the world. My heart is pure and it is ready to serve. Stop it with your assumptions. Stop it with your expectations. Stop it with your judgments. I am no longer a prisoner to your ideals. I am me in all my glory, powerful and courageous, ready to step into my potential, ready to conquer the world. So are you coming to support me? Or will you be left behind? Because I ain't taking no prisoners, and I'm definitely not taking any haters. I am on a mission, and nothing can hold me back. I will do what I came here for, because I am me, and I can only be me, and I am love. So that's it. That's the self-esteem poem, and that's how I'm feeling right now. Like, a week of triumph, a week of being courageous and triumphing in that courageousness, and then feeling that mass rejection, and then now run the triumph on the other end of that rejection, which is the self-esteem. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting week coming up. I've got some action plans I'm going to kind of put into place and start transforming and get used to this rejection. It's going to be coming out in big waves. So just as long as it's all really counterbalanced with the positive, then I'm happy to embrace it because it'll be constructive. So yeah. I hope you're all having a great time as well. I am filming this on the new moon in Leo, so it's that courageous kind of proud solar plexus, kind of powerful self-worth energy. So I'm right on time with the cosmos. So yeah, and I hope you are too. I hope you're all staying safe out there and to know that you are loved and you are not alone.